Hi, we're on the sand dunes near Winterton-on-Sea, and it's quite funny. There's loads of people out today because, as you can see, the weather's absolutely gorgeous and glorious. And behind us, there's a bunch of youths that are doing some kind of army fatigue training thing. And at first, it was a bit disconcerting because they've all got rifles, and we were like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And then we realised they all look about 13, so it's obviously one of these organised things. Can you hear it in the background? Anyway, it's Saturday, and on Monday we're actually leaving our current house sit and returning home on Monday to West Yorkshire. We've had a glorious week. We've done really well with the weather, and we've been looking after Sandy and Lucy, who you might be able to see just there behind me. Anyway, I arrived this week and I've been trying to sort these DJI mics out, and it's been a bit of a technical issue. It's actually been a human error. I think I've got them working now, so hopefully this is recording satisfactorily. This week has been a week of slow travel, and it's been so welcome. Our third house sit of 2026 has allowed us to kick back and explore locally, a lot on foot. So after we took Lucy and Sandy for their morning walk on the dunes, we popped them back home for a rest, and we headed off to Potter Heigham, just a few miles up the road. Potter Heigham is a small hamlet, and it spans over the famous medieval bridge over the River Thurne, and lots of people gather here and go to the local cafes and bars. There's not a huge amount here. It's famous for its bridge, Lathams store, and the riverside views and boatyards, but it's just a great place to kick back and have an ice cream and take in the views. We left Potter Heigham to the other day trippers and people messing around on the river and headed off to Lathams, just down the road. It has a pretty village centre and thatched cottages, a church called St Catherine's Church, and local tea rooms. One of the most interesting things about this church, it has a famous font, and on it there are two figures, a man which was depicted as a woodwose or a woodhouse or a wadwoe, which is a wild man of the woods and was a popular medieval folklore figure, dressed in a lion's skin, and in this case carrying a heavy club and shield. What makes this particularly unique is that there's also a female woodwoses, and these are extremely rare, only existing on ancient tapestries and glass. This one carries a huge club, like her partner, but no shield. Our next stop was How Hill. Here you'll find How Hill Nature Reserve, Toad Hole Cottage, a secret garden, and a riverside walk which runs along the side of the River Ant. We're at this lovely cottage called How Hill House, and it's run by the How Hill Trust, which was set up in 1984. I've never seen a house as big with thatch on it before. It's absolutely wonderful. There's residents at the moment, so unfortunately the gardens are closed. The weekends and during school holidays, there's a range of residential courses and short breaks for adults. The house isn't open today because they've got some residents. How Hill House is a Grade 2 listed building, and it was constructed by the arts and crafts style. In the arts and crafts style, the house is a family home built in the early part of the 20th century. So yeah, if that's on your list, that's quite a nice place to just have a look at. And then you can go to the secret garden at the back. There's an old windmill, no sails on it. It's probably a holiday let. They all seem to be. So which way are we going now?
Down to Toad Hall.
Down to Toad Hall. There we go. See what that's like.
This way.
We're just coming into the secret garden at How Hill Trust. We'll see what it's got to offer. We are in the secret garden at How Hill Trust, and it's not far from Lathams, is it? And we're in Norfolk, and we're doing a bit of a scoot round, but we're on this bench called Molly's bench, and it's oversized, and my feet don't touch the ground, which is really unusual, this kind of thing.
The borrower's seat.
Yeah, we like the borrowers. And you can lean back on it. And the idea is to gaze up to see the stars or the sky, obviously. And there you go, and just relax.
And listen to the bird song.
Sean's been identifying all sorts of birds on his Merlin app, which he's had for some years now, and it's actually really peaceful here, isn't it? So you're actually picking up quite a lot.
16 birds at the moment.
16 different types of birds and lots of different types of
tits.
But yeah, it's interesting to see what's actually out there.
Robin seems to be the dominant one.
So when we got out the car, it said it was 20 degrees. I don't actually need a coat on, but sometimes you just feel a bit chilly, don't you, with the breeze?
Well, the sun's like behind the clouds now, and it's a bit chilly. As soon as that sun gets shining on you, it's quite warm.
Anyway, we'll catch you later with our meanderings and wanderings. Yeah. Beautiful acer tree. A beautiful orange big shrub, which I don't know the name of, behind us. It's absolutely gorgeous. We've just done the loop round the garden, and now we're going to head back to Toad Hall. Or is it Toad Cottage?
Toad Cottage.
Toad Cottage. Catch you later. Look at that. We thought we were going to see a windmill, but it's actually a poor excuse for one.
I think it's a folly. Must be a pump.
I think it's a water pump.
Yeah.
Well, it's got sails.
Well, it's a wind. Not quite a mill, but yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to grind your flour, is it?
No. Pump your water.
Yes, which is always welcome. Here we are.
Thought it was a folly at first. Some information here.
Oh yeah. Boardman's Mill.
Mill, still calling it a mill.
There you go, another boat on the Broads, on the River Art. Is it the River Art or the River Ant? I keep getting it wrong.
River Ant. And it was Boardman's Mill. Was built in 1897 to drain the adjacent marshes. This is a wooden skeleton type development as an alternative to the brick tower mills. Originally fitted with scoop wheel, this was later replaced with a turbine pump. There you are, Boardman's Mill.
See how grey the clouds have gone now, and then there's that lovely bit of blue just behind them. Never mind. We are on the Norfolk Broads.
Want to go up it? I'll charge you a tenner.
Yeah, you could do, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Ooh. Do you know, sometimes I would do that, but I don't feel like it today.
You could trust them wooden ladders.
Yeah. You going?
No.
Do you know what it is? It's the actual approach to get onto the ladder.
Oh, that's alright, you can get on there, look.
Not with my knees.
Get on here. Onto there.
Yeah, you give it a miss today. Right, I think it's time to move on from this area, don't you?
Yeah, come on.
Toad Hole Cottage is a little museum now, and it's typical of how the Marshmen used to live with their families. But it's interesting to see that all the usual comforts that we still require today were just as relevant then. So pots, pans, plates, cups on a nice dresser, somewhere to cook your food over a fire in a big pot, And then there was a little winding staircase upstairs. You only allowed 5 people at a time upstairs, probably in case the floor collapses. There was one big bedroom for mum and dad and then one for the kids. There were a few interesting things out, like the old-fashioned water bottles which were made of pot. The back bedroom looked over the River Ant. Sean found a kid's little toy to play with. You can still get those these days. The staircase was really steep, it's almost like steps. And I did notice the mangle, and it reminded me that in 1960s, probably about 65, Chippenham swimming pool had a mangle that looked very similar to that you could put your swimming costume through. Anyway, back to Toad Hole Cottage. There are all the pots and pans there that you would need for everyday life. And it was good to see that, in a way, not a lot's changed. There was a cheese grater, there were pans for baking, and there were wicker baskets aplenty. It was really nice to see. We finished our afternoon with one last look at How Hill House before we headed back to Winterton-on-Sea to take Lucy and Sandy round the block for their evening walk, taking in some of the local sights and finishing off just underneath the Winterton-on-Sea sign. All in all, a lovely afternoon.